Welcome to this new series where we're going to take the player controller we previously created and some other aspects from videos that I've created, put them in together and creating more of a functional platformer type game. So if you haven't already got to this point in the series and followed the platformer series, go back and follow the platformer series. I'll leave a link in the description. And basically where we're starting at is at the last episode where I applied bug fixes. But I've got one more that I need to do, which is, if you notice just down here, it's moaning about the ledge grab control state. So if you want to go into the animator, select ledge grab, you'll see there's this little mark come up. Just untick that and that'll get rid of that. So in this episode we're going to look at creating a level management system to keep track of all of the activated checkpoints in the level and any coins that we've collected and we don't want respawning. So let's get on with it. So in the scripts folder, create two new folders, one called data types and one called level control. Open the data types up, create a new C# script and call it item. Then create another C# script and call this one level data. Okay, and once they've both compiled, open them up in Visual Studio. And we'll work at the level data and the item control scripts. We don't need that. We don't need that. We're just interested in these two scripts first. So let's start with the item. We can get rid of all of the methods. We can get rid of the mono behavior. We mark it as system serializable and I'm going to put it under my data namespace. Okay, so what do we want in this item class? Now an item could be many things. I'm going to probably end up whittering on. This video is going to be really long, so it could be a health pickup, a checkpoint, a coin, a gem, etc, etc. So we'll start declaring the variables of what's going to make up our base item. Okay, let's paste them in and see what we've got. So we've got a public enum, item type, and I've just gone gem, coin, power up, checkpoint, damage and health. And then we've got a public item type, which we're going to set the default item to be a checkpoint. It's got a string for its name, it's got an ID, we've got an int for points, a float for damage and health, a vector3 for position and a bool for is triggered. This will tell us later or not when we run through some lists what we can do with the item if it's already been previously triggered. So that's the item. If we copy that, we want to basically do the same with the level data. We can get rid of that, get rid of that, mark that serializable, make it part of our data namespace, and then we just need to fill the data in here. So we're going to have a vector3 current checkpoint. We're going to have a list of checkpoints and a list of coins. So that should be it for the level data. We can now go into Unity. Go into the level control folder. Create a new C# script called level manager. Once that's compiled, open that up in Visual Studio, and then we start with the variables. I'm going to try and rush through this because I want to try and keep the video about 15 to 20 minutes long. So I can scroll in a bit so you can see the variables a bit better. These will be the first lot. Okay, so I hope you can see that clearly. We make this part of the data namespace as well, so that'll get rid of that level data error. So we're going to create a static instance of this level manager. We've got a game object which is going to be the player spawn point for the spawn point of the level. String file name, string folder name, these we can set in the inspector. Then we've got a default path, current checkpoint, vector, a string save file name, and we've got an int for a password and a bool if you want to use encryption or not. We're going to save the data as JSON, so we're going to need some form of encryption for the end user, but all the while we're not using it and we're testing, we can leave the encryption off. So that's going to be a subclass, so make some space under your level manager class and we'll put this subclass in. Okay, we've got an error there, so we just need to use a system text namespace. If you want to pause the video and type that out, I'm not going to dwell on this, so pause the video, type that out, and then we can get back to the Unity base methods. So we don't need update, we're going to use just start and awake, so let's get those functions ready. Okay, we can delete these, paste these with our new ones. So in the awake function, we're just going to create an instance, and if there's another instance existing, we'll destroy it. We're going to set the default path and the save file name. Don't worry about this error, we'll correct that and the load level data in a minute, but directory we need to do using system.io. Okay, so let's get on and get these methods. So the first two methods will be this bool folder exists, and it's just going to return if the folder exists or not. Now you'll notice the error is cleared from there. And this is the load level data method. We're going to check if the save file exists, and if we're using encryption, we're going to read the file, decrypt it, convert it to level data, and then set the current checkpoint from the level data. Or if we're not using encryption, we're just going to write it as humanly readable text. Again, convert that into a level data, and then that fill out the current checkpoint. Okay, so then finally we just need to be able to save the data and delete the data. Okay, so here's the save method. Once again, we're going to check if we're using encryption. We're going to save the data to a string using JSON utility. We'll encrypt the string and then we'll write the encrypted file. If not, we're going to basically convert all of the level data into one long string using JSON utility and save the data. And then finally, we're going to, for the delete data, we're going to check if the file exists. If it does, delete it. So I'll start at the bottom. There's a simple encryption. If you want to pause and copy that. There's the save level and delete data methods. They're a load level and folder exists methods. There's your start and awake, and there are your variables. Okay, with that saved, if we jump back into Unity one final time, we need to create one more C# script, and I should have closed it down, but it's going to freak out anyway. Game controller. And what we'll do is we use this for respawning the player. So once that's compiled, we'll open that up. We need some variables. So we've got some player component references, player controller, the rigid body, and sprite renderer. We need to get those into start, and then we just need to create a method to set the player position. So let's get the get components code. Okay, so if you want to pause and copy that out. Now we just need the set player position code. Okay, so we'll paste that in there, and we've got our error because of the level manager, so using Cedarwood software data to get rid of that. What we're going to just do is check if the checkpoint list count is not equal to 0, so there's a checkpoint in it. We'll set it to the current checkpoint, and it will always basically select the last checkpoint in the list. Else we'll set the player position to the spawn point that's set in the level manager. Okay, that should be all the code that's needed for the game controller to initially get it to work. I'll just quickly zoom back out and check the level manager. Yep, I think that's all we need. So I can end that episode here. And then in the next episode we look at creating a checkpoint and a coin system to take advantage of the level manager. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.